I'm down to one window, one screen here at the beginning of this, and so we'll have to work with that as we go. I think I need to make sure this thing is recording, which it is. That'll make our folks back at work happy. And Jack, make him happy too. All right, so it says we have 34 folks now, and it is 11:01. Let's give it another minute. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Good morning, everyone. My name is Todd Brookso. I'm the Director of Customer Support at MCNC. We're here today to talk about the Quilt Software License Program Agreement with Carahsoft. What this is in a nutshell is an ability for you as a NCREN connected customer to order software from your reseller or through another reseller at a higher discount rate than you can today. That's basically the reason why we did this. I'm here with my co-host Martin Gavin from Carahsoft. Martin will go through most of the presentation, keep explaining you how this is done. But in short, all you have to do is submit the Carahsoft Quilt contract number with your order. As long as everything lines up, and Martin will go through that, and you'll get the extra points off your purchase. So first thing you're probably going to ask is, what is the Quilt? Well, the Quilt, I'm sorry, here's the agenda. Okay, so what is the Quilt? And then NCNC and the Quilt, who is Carahsoft, etc. So the Quilt is a national coalition of research and education networks. So everybody who's connected to NCREN is connected to North Carolina Research and Education Network. So we are in our research education network, and there are other research education networks in the state, in the United States. And there's, in this case, there's 40 of them, and they're all part of a group that allows for large buying in bulk methods to get better rates for everybody. This is something that MCNC has been part of since 1999. We are part of the original folks that started this group, original 16. We do this every year. Every year these contracts go out for bid. We make sure that we follow all the procurement rules that we can, just to make this go as well as we can for everybody in the organization. We do it, MCNC does it, so that we can pass on the reduced pricing, reduced costs to our customers. And i.e., basically, we buy internet in bulk through the Quilt from our providers, from the major tier 1 providers. In addition, we now have the ability to purchase software as well through the Quilt program with Carahsoft. That's why we're here today. So that basically just says what I just said there. Through the Carahsoft contract. And now I'm going to turn it over to Martin Gavin. He can explain to you who Carahsoft is, his role in there, and how to go about ordering the software and what software is available. Go ahead, Martin.
Sure. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for attending, and thank you for taking a little bit of time out to learn about this contract. As Todd said, I'm Martin Gavin. I work for Carahsoft Technologies Corporation. We're located in Reston, Virginia, and I have been servicing this particular contract for our company now for going on 4 years. We've had a lot of popularity with it, as you'll be able to see as we go on. The pricing structure is very advantageous to buyers, as well as the ease of procurement. So With that being said, basically Carahsoft was formed about 14 years ago as a sales and marketing company for technology vendors. And we started out with I think a total of 5 vendors that signed up with us. Now we have roughly 1,000 different technology vendors, and we've moved from $0 in sales to a little over 8 billion annually in sales. Now, keep in mind, though, we are a distributor of technologies, and I'll explain that as we go on. All right, so give me 1 second here. I want to make sure that my mouse is moving along here. All right. Sorry, everybody. And let me get back into slideshow. My apologies, everybody.
So that was my fault. I went and did something on my screen and it took it over. So you have it now. I won't touch my mouse.
Okay, great. So originally this contract started out as a VMware products and services offering. For the first 3 years of the contract, we did roughly 30 million in sales for VMware products and services. That includes all products and services, including hardware, software, cloud services. And you'll see a chart in a little bit that will give you an indication of what's available. Since that time, and the second iteration of the contract, 6 technologies total were pre-competed in that process. I see a question here about if it's usable for state contract orders, example 204X. I'm not familiar with the state contract 204X. If Todd can elaborate on that, then we'll address that in just a minute. However, for the 6 products that are on contract, you have VMware, Red Hat, Veeam, Palo Alto Networks, Amazon Web Services, and I believe 2 other, I'll get to those in a second, but those were competitively sourced products and services. The others have been added by amendment. Now, going back to that, what I will say is that as a distributor, we can help you to satisfy any rules of procurement that you may be looking for. So who can access the contract? So all MCNC clients can access this contract. It is not just for state and local government or higher education. You have K through 12 that can access it. You have higher education, obviously. Healthcare institutions that are tied to any university or nonprofits that fall under the MCNC guidelines are able to purchase off of this contract as well. Nonprofits and libraries also can take advantage of this. And then finally, state and local governments. We have used this contract in the state of North Carolina, so we do have precedent, and we can provide examples of that for anybody who has any questions about that. And then ultimately, federal agencies can purchase off of this contract. We don't see a lot of that happening because federal purchasing regulations can be very, very difficult. And most purchasing officers will tend to move towards a SOUP or a GSA contract, something like that they're much more familiar with, and they want to make sure that all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. So why would anybody want to use the contract? And these are excellent questions. The first is that the contract is pre-negotiated. Going back to what Todd said earlier, is that by being part of the Quilt consortium, they've utilized their collective bargaining power in order to drive down prices and increase discounts to their customers. So this is an extension of your member services catalog, something that by being a member of NCREN MCNC, you have the ability to utilize a contract that's been pre-negotiated for you. And typically, this contract is a nationwide contract vehicle. So we have checked off all the boxes when it comes to standard procurements. Anything outside of like EULA's specific things that may need to be included can be brought down through the purchasing order or through the scope of work. So if there's something specific that your institution needs included in this, then we can discuss that and we can make sure that it qualifies under your purchasing. So when it comes to the best pricing structure, basically I deal with a lot of contracts. I deal with a lot of pricing mechanisms throughout the United States, and I deal with multiple vendors. On this contract alone, we have 56 different vendor technologies. I have not seen a contract, especially when it comes to VMware products and services, that provides the type of discount that you will receive off the bat, meaning that every discount that you'll see as we go forward with this slide deck, these are the minimum discounts that are allowable through this contract. By working with your value-added reseller, it can tend to increase the discounts that you may see. And again, the cooperative agreement being part of this consortium, it just makes the whole process easier for you to purchase off of. There's not going to be a whole lot of hangups when you're actually trying to get your purchasing officer or your contracting officer to make sure that they utilize this contract. And there is no upfront purchasing commitment. So that being said, some contracts will actually require a certain amount of money being brought into it in order to drive down discounts. This one does not. You can buy a single instance of AirWatch, which I think is around $13, or you can even purchase a multi-million-dollar enterprise licensing agreement utilizing this contract as your papering vehicle. When I say that, I'll get to that in just a second of how those types of purchases have helped this community along through this contract. So this is an example of how Carahsoft is built out. When it comes to our expertise, we like to call ourselves a mile deep, an inch wide. So what we do is we will segment teams by product line. So basically, if you're hired onto the VMware team, then you're going to know VMware in and out. You may not know much about Palo Alto. You may not know much about BlackBerry, but you are going to thoroughly understand your product set. That's going to help any person that is a member of this contract. If you have some sort of technical issue, or if you have some sort of configuration issue that you're looking to address, by contacting Carahsoft through your reseller or to us directly, as you have the right to do through contract, then we can assist you in making sure that those touch points are addressed, and that we can start the process of assisting you in either your pre-sales architecture or your pre-sales engineering, or even just to help you to escalate issues that may come about. We see a lot, at least I've seen a lot in the past when it comes to renewals. If a date has been missed for purchasing, then we have an internal team that works very closely with the vendors that can help you to address issues that you may be having and to help to escalate those problems. So for each team that's on contract, there is an individual contract, or there is an individual contact, but everything will filter through me so that I will make sure that you get to the right person that you need to be coupled up with. And this is our technical services team for the VMware and AWS teams here at Carahsoft. And the reason that I wanted to, this is a snippet. Each team has pre-sales vendor certified software engineers. We have pre-sales architects as well that can assist you. And that's prior to even going into the further managed services that are available under contract, where if you're having difficulty rolling out any type of new technology, and I know a lot of EDU institutions, both K through 12 and higher education, are grappling with the COVID response and to move not only student learning online, but also to make sure that your faculty and members of staff are capable and spun up, and that the programs are working correctly. So we can act as a front line to assist, and under contract, that is one of the value adds that we provide. But also this contract provides for a wide array of services. So we can help you to find managed service providers. We can help you to find architects. We can help you find engineers, technical asset managers and such. And all of those will fall under contract, which will provide you with a discount that you can plan out your fiscal budgeting to help you move in the right direction. And this is an example of some of the savings. So if you're looking at a Horizon Advanced Edition or vCenter, I used VMware because, like I said, this started out as a VMware program. But through this purchasing program, depending on the type of sale, you can save up to 50% off of MSRP. depending on the licenses that you purchase and what quantity. And now I'm saying 50% off of MSRP. That's outside of enterprise licensing engagements, which some of you on the call may actually be able to have. Typically, when you're looking at those types of discounts, it's just unheard of. So you will be able to save through this contract. We'll be able to make sure that the pricing fits the budget. And this is a prelude to what I'm going to provide to Todd and MCNC. We have a distinct discount matrix that shows exactly what you are to expect as a minimum discount off of each product line, off of each vendor, off of each different types of service that's offered. So this will help you when you're going to the negotiating table with your VAR or with the vendor, and you can say, look, these are the savings that I get by purchasing under this contract. I want to make sure that I'm secure here. Now, if you look over in the threshold met column, this is what I was alluding to earlier, is that by purchasing through this contract, it's very different than other types of contract vehicles in that cumulatively purchases will build to create additional discount structures. And when we started this contract, it was 17% off for perpetual software licenses. But over the course of the few years, we've reached benchmarks that were built into the contract that has allowed this to go up from 17% to now 19% off of MSRP. And you can see in the cloud subscription services as well that we have a tiering where we will bring it up. And once we hit these certain numbers, then it goes up an additional percentage. Now, another unique thing about this contract is that the Quilt and the RINs and the RONs are very flexible when it comes to net new technologies being added. If any of you have had experience dealing with state contract vehicles or GSAs or any type of large organization governmental contract, then you can understand that when net new technologies come to market, they may not be available on contract immediately. Whereas this, with each vendor that's already signed on contract, if a net new technology comes to market, or say a VMware purchases, Carbon Black recently, then since they fall under that VMware umbrella, we will immediately add those SKUs onto contract as they are part of the VMware product line and service offerings. And as far as anything that Carahsoft is distributing for, if you do not see it on contract and it's something that you were looking for, maybe you need something that's going to integrate with your AWS cloud functioning, and we do distribute for it, then we can approach the RIN and the RON on your behalf, or you can contact Todd and have them contact us, and we will work to amend that product to contract so that you can have access to it. And all of you, I'm assuming, work in technology, so you realize the speed at which things can change. And having those tools available to you when they're necessary and immediate can be a game changer for you all. So the order flow is very similar to what many of you are doing right now. Basically, all you're going to do is you identify a need, and then you can reach out to your reseller. We have over 100 resellers on contract now. So if you're already partnering with somebody, I can provide you with a list or a link that you can check out, and you can see exactly who is able to purchase off a contract and resell to you. You can contact us directly or contact Todd at MCNC, and what we can do is we can make sure that you have a reseller partner that's going to be able to assist you. And if you don't see your reseller partner on the list and you would like to have them added, then we can do that as well. We want to make sure that the people that you trust the most and that have been critical in helping you to build out your environments, sometimes over the course of decades, that they're included on this, which makes it a little bit different than other contracts as well, where some contracts will actually reduce competition in a sense by making it so that only a handful of value-added resellers can participate. With this contract, we specifically designed it so that it benefits the members of the Quilt community and they're functioning all together. So basically what happens through the process is that you identify the need, you've contacted the reseller, you've decided, okay, this is what I need. Maybe you might need some pre-sales help as far as engineering or architecture is concerned, and that's when we'll play a role and we'll come in and assist. And then the quote process is the purchase order gets cut to your reseller. The reseller and Carahsoft verify that with the vendor. We send the licenses to you directly, and that's a wrap. So we just make sure that everything is taken care of on our side as the distributor. And going back to the distributor and the competitiveness, what we need to understand is that Carahsoft is a distributor. We have the ability to send out quotes to multiple resellers. We have thousands of resellers within our partner ecosystem. So if you are looking for competitive bids and you still want to see them off of contract, then we can send each value-added reseller a quote and let them compete for your business as well. So I think we're all aware that right now, as budgets are being reduced and as the anticipation for technologies are being increased, we're all looking for the best possible deal that we can find. And I think that you will find that this contract is going to be extremely useful to you. So going back to this, yes, you can absolutely maintain your current value-added reseller. We do want to make sure that those relationships stay in place, and we do work with many of the partners that you're already utilizing. I think Todd went through a list of them the other day with me, and out of the 5 or 6 that he mentioned, I know that they all are in fact authorized to sell off with this contract. And again, if you do have one that you need to have added, then we can do that immediately. And here's a quick list. Now that link on the prior screen, you can go directly to that, and you can see that which other resellers, and you can learn a little bit more about the contract as well. We do have different resources available for that through that microsite. So the ordering process is you contact either Carahsoft or you contact your reseller. Now, I am going to say that if you do contact Carahsoft, what we are going to most likely do is we're going to point you in the direction of a reseller, because the one thing that the resellers can definitely do, besides the value add that they give you by being the boots on the ground, so to speak, is that they have ways of helping you to increase your savings. So a lot of times what we do is we try to make sure that they're included in the deal, because these guys have fantastic and creative ways, and they have relationships with the vendors as well, where they can bring your case forward and actually help you to save. And that's basically a wrap.
Thank you, Martin.
You're very welcome.
I think we're ready for questions and answers. Martin, I'm going to go ahead and grab the screen here a little bit so that I can get my Q&A up. And I see we have, is Carahsoft in the North Carolina State Marketplace? That's from Dan Dieter. And I don't know the answer to that. Do you?
I'll have to check, but I believe that we are. We do a lot of business with the state of North Carolina, so I'm assuming that we probably are in the marketplace, but I can get back to you. And that's Dan Dieter?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
All right.
And then, is it usable for state contract orders, example 204X? I'm sorry, I don't know what 204X is, Eugene. If you'd like to add further on that, we could follow up. You can just email me directly if you want to. That's the only 2 questions I see, other than everybody making sure we hit record button. There was some chat. Let me see what's in the chat window. Yes, okay. Carahsoft is in e-procurement, and they're used regularly. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. How do I get a list of all the vendors and products that are available through Carahsoft? So, Martin, I'll let you answer that one.
Yeah, absolutely. So the microsite that you have the link to in this particular one, or in the slide deck, will have all of the resellers added. They have all the resellers, they have all the vendors that are currently on contract. That gets updated though. This contract is almost like a living document. So you're going to make sure that you check back on it every now and then to see if products have been added or if resellers have been added. Typically, we don't ever take anything away. As long as everything stays in good standing, we should be fine. And again, my contact information is in this deck. If you ever have any questions about it, you can reach out to myself or to Todd, and we'll be able to assist you and make sure that you have the information that you need to go forward.
Okay. I have a question from Mark Harbin. He will be able to get access to those links you shared, vendor links and such. Yes, those links are all live, publicly available. We'll share the slide deck as well as we'll send a flyer out to everybody that'll have the contract number on it so that you can have it available to you when you're ready to purchase the software. I know that folks don't always purchase software, you know, on June 1st or July 1st or whatever. They do it whenever the you know, the terms come available and whenever the need is available. So it's something that you want to be able to reach to, go to when you need it, and not just particular one day in July or something like that.
Well, and I think also with the CARES Act, the funding that they're petitioning for and applying for grants for, that's going to extend their purchasing season as well. My information is that a lot of it is going to be coming in the September through December months. So if you are actively seeking CARES Act funding or grant funding that's accessible to you, then we'll be able to assist there as well.
Okay. Paul has told us that Tommy Jackson no longer works at DNS, and that's true. I know that. We just need to update that list. Thanks, Paul. Justin, if Carasoft is a vendor for North Carolina statewide term contract and the Quilt, is there a way, a preferred method to request proof that Quilt pricing beats statewide term? We would be required to provide that for purchase documentation locally.
So the answer to that is yes, absolutely. What we can do is we can provide you with a quote from the state contract, and we can provide you with a quote from the Quilt contract as well. Now, again, this is where the resellers are going to play a role. Is under the contract, we have an established array of discounts that are the minimum discounts available. So one thing that we don't want to do is we don't want to pose ourselves as competitively against another contract. Reason being, Carasoft owns hundreds of different contracts, or we're the master or the prime on different contracts throughout the United States. So the best thing to do is to come to us and let us provide you pricing on both vehicles. And then obviously, you know, have the reseller submit it to you and find out where the pricing sits. And I do understand the question. Basically, you need to, if you're going after a BPA or best price available, you have to prove that this is the best price available. And I think in many instances you will find that, especially when it comes to VMware products and services.
Thanks, Martin. That's it for the questions we have right now. Does anybody else have any? And if you think of something later, you can obviously email me. I can email Martin. Actually, Martin's email is right there on the screen, so you can then email him directly. We're here to help. Let us know what we can do. I know things are tough. I know that the state is going to be cutting back. I don't know what the numbers are, mind you, but I'm sure they will because of COVID. So this is one avenue for you to save some money on your budgets. I highly suggest you investigate it further and make sure that they can take advantage of this. I've seen it done. I know that many of the campuses are doing this today and nationwide. So this is legit, and it's going to be here for a couple more years at least, hopefully even longer. Martin, you got anything to follow up?
No, I think that's it. I think I want to, again, tell everybody thank you for your time today. I know that you are incredibly busy. I tried to make the deck as short as possible. Any follow-up questions, obviously, please reach out to me. And I'd be more than happy to help you.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, everybody. Have a good day, and we'll be in touch later.
Thank you, everybody.